gentlemen, Sarafina in Nakuru. Kama mwaijone mchezo wa Soweto. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarafina imekuja at Nakuru Players Theatre kuwaonyesha mchezo wa kuigiza. Mchezo imesapotiwa na His Excellency the Governor of Nakuru County, Honorable Lee Kenyatta.
Saturday and Sunday. Advance it's only 1,000 Kenya shillings and at the gate is 1,500. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of Nakuru County is always welcoming. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to know more about Nakuru Place Theatre, just join us at Nakuru Place Theatre behind the Cafe Hotel and near Bontana. Ladies and gentlemen, so the governor of Nakuru County is
Hello, Cape Town. Let's do it. Let's do it for Matilda. Let's do it for the children. Are you there, Cape Town? I love you. All right, now 1, 2. I work hard every day to make my beer. I wake up early every morning to please my people with African beer. Are we getting down? I'll make sure the fire burns to make my beer. A special beer. It's African. Everybody sing. Everybody. Come and drink my magic beer. Everybody come. Everybody. Come and drink my African. Everybody get down.
Who wanna know who owns the land? I say, who wanna know who owns the land? My purpose land. My purpose land. Africa, it's my purpose land. Now, hear me. We are no fools on the hill. My people are no fools on the hill. You must let my people go, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free my people's hands, so we can rule our purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land. I say, we want to know who owns the land. I want to know who owns the land. Aslan, hey, purpose land. ẹ̀wòrò. Ìrẹ́dà nílò ẹ̀wòrò. Ẹ̀bìlì sọ̀rọ̀ bàtà ní bá. Láwọn ìyá mi tó so. Ọ̀nà fẹ́ mú o lọ́gbẹ̀rẹ̀. Ẹ̀bìlì sọ̀rọ̀ bàtà ní bá. Ọ̀nà fẹ́ mú o lọ́gbẹ̀rẹ̀. Ọ̀fẹ́lẹ́ mú mẹ́yà gbẹ̀rẹ̀ bàbá. Ọ̀fẹ́lẹ́ mú Jésù yàrá kan. Ọ̀fẹ́lẹ́ mú sísá yàrá kan yẹ. Omi ìjẹ. Tẹ́lẹ̀rẹ̀ omi ìjẹ. Ọ̀jẹ̀ mẹ́rin ọ̀dẹ̀ máa bọ̀ kí sẹ́. Ọ̀fẹ́lẹ́ mú ọ̀jẹ̀ mẹ́rin ọ̀dẹ̀ máa bọ̀ kí sọ.
Gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast today. I am excited to be back here with you this gracious day. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let me make sure that everything is good out there. I hope the volume is good out there. But again, good evening, and it's a pleasure to come to you today. It's been a while. I want to believe that all of you on ground zero have power. I mean electricity. Welcome ground zero, welcome ground one, and all of you in the diaspora. We've got so much to talk about today, so much to talk about today. A lot has been going on in the struggle, and I have a powerful panel here to discuss one subject that has been the talk of the week on the social media. I am talking about collaboration. So please do not touch your remote. Make sure you immediately hit your share button. Go ahead, hit your share button. Let us quickly populate the platform. I'm going to be having with me Comrade Abdu Karim joining me to talk collaboration and the book that he has written. Also joining me after Abdu Karim is Tumfoin Bo Herbert and Professor Martin AYIM, who shall be taking some analysis on this very subject of collaboration. So much more to talk about, so please go ahead, hit your share button, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back once more. I hear some people saying sound is not good. Please give me heads up here. Let me know that the sound is good now. Give me heads up here. Let me know that the sound is good now. I changed microphone today, and you know, right here in the studio, I don't hear myself because if we turn up the speakers, then there is a feedback. There is an echo. So in the studios, the speakers are shut down, and I can only go by the meter, the reading. So that's why I cannot hear myself here. So please let me know that you can hear me, that the sound is good. Let me know that the sound, okay, somebody says sound is perfect. Thank you again. We've got so much to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about this subject of collaboration as the main subject of the day. But besides that, I'm also going to be bringing you a very special talking point on that. And we'll also be talking about, I will give you a brief commentary on what we think that the Amazonian Restoration Forces should know after the passing of Ayeke. After the passing of Ayeke, I will also be talking a little bit about these deportations that took place last week, Tuesday, right here in Texas. And then after that, I will bring in Abdu Karim. I will bring in Abdu Karim to talk about collaboration and also issues concerning a book that he has recently written. While I wait for you to go ahead and hit your share button, because this is really going to be exciting. I need to see about 3,000 people on this social media screen today, and I mean it, 3,000 at least. Ladies and gentlemen, let our detractors and our enablers know people are still out there listening or wanting to listen to this interim government. So please, 3,000 today is the mark. All right, but while you are hitting your share button and bringing them in, let me remind you of the need for us to redeem our drafts. We just had 1st October come and gone. Now, a lot of people to Cameroon is sitting and expecting to see what we do. We don't need to tell them what we have to do. All that we have as a responsibility is to furnish the restoration fighters on the ground with what they need to do what they have to do. So much has been said about the draft. The draft is of no good if we cannot redeem them and put the right equipment into the hands of those guys on the ground. And so I want to make this appeal again that please, if you drafted and you have not yet redeemed your draft, please, the moment has come. Now remember, these drafts are scheduled to take place yearly. Very soon we're going to be marching into 2021 and we will start talking about drafts again. But I believe people want to see what we have done with the present draft. And we cannot sit here talking about we have drafted if you draft and didn't redeem or didn't pay. We need to pay so that the LGAs and the counties can put the right equipment into the hands of these boys who are putting their lives on the line for all of us on ground zero. So please, again, I am appealing to everyone out there. Remember, this money is not coming to the center government. The money is not coming to the interim government. The money is going to your local government. It is going to your county. So I urge you to please find out who is in charge in your local government, in your county, and redeem your draft. And remember, you have the right to question. If you put in your draft and nothing happens, you have the right to question. Question your local government administrators or managers. What is going on or what went on? We want to see ground zero change completely with those Amazonian Restoration Forces carrying better guns to prosecute this war. We no longer call them sticks. We are no longer shy of saying we are fighting a war. After all, we did not declare the war. We did not declare the war. So please go ahead, call your local government administrators, call your county administrators, redeem your drafts. Redeem your drafts. And particularly for those who drafted for ABC, Amber TV, I also urge you, please do us a favor. Redeem your draft so that we can launch the initiative that we have here at ABC. We have so much to do. We have so much to do, and we are just depending on you for those funds to come in so that we can carry out those projects. So please, everybody who drafted, the moment is now. The moment is now for you to redeem your draft. Very, very, very important. Now, to another subject. I'm sure that most of you out there have seen on the social media this campaign and the pull that is being, a number of things are going on, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, we have a group, so-called Pan-African something something and the Dove something something based in Ghana and one based in La Republique, putting together a peace conference, they hope, with which to come to a settlement for this conflict. This conference is taking place in Ghana, and we have another one being organized by the Coalition for Dialogue, they call themselves, coming up also alone at the end of the month. The Coalition for Dialogue sent out a survey, a poll, in which they are polling Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, plus Francophones, La Republique citizens, polling to find out what kind of solution they are looking for to this conflict. Now, I bring this up, ladies and gentlemen, because you should not be deceived. None of these is a legitimate organization out there fighting for for an independent Ambazonia. These groups are called them La République du Cameroun groups in proxy, fighting for a one and indivisible Cameroon. The name, Coalition for Dialogue, quite close to Ambazonia Coalition Team. So if you are not smart, you may confuse the two. Ambazonia's own is Ambazonia Coalition Team. That is a legitimate group. Then the other group is Coalition for Dialogue. Now, this is basically made up of federalists. Federalists. Ladies and gentlemen, federalists, when you see a group with Dr. Chris Fomonyo involved, you can tell what they represent. They are federalists. And when you go through the poll that they put out there, the questionnaire, for those of you who have been there, are you surprised that they do not talk about independence? No, they do not talk about the form of state. None of their questions talks about the form of state. It is not about the form of state. It is about peace. It is about a solution. What kind of solution? They say nothing about it. So we are bringing this to warn all of you Ambazonians out there. Do not fall into that trap of thinking, oh, this is a legitimate group. Any group that is not talking about the independence of Ambazonia, ladies and gentlemen, is a La République du Cameroun proxy group. They are as good as La République du Cameroun. Again, they are as good and vicious as La République du Cameroun. They don't need to form any organization or any conferences to come up with a solution to this thing. They just need to join La République, speak their language, to let people know what they're trying to do. The other one taking place in Ghana, they call it the all Anglophone. Anglophone. Ladies and gentlemen, I see people who are in that forum. That forum is filled with people with Cameroon flag, La République du Cameroun's flag. And you will be surprised of some caliber of people who are there. When you hear about any conference in Ghana, know that it is not about Ambazonia. It is about one Cameroon. Again, it is about one Cameroon. When you hear of the Coalition for Dialogue, it is not about an independent Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. It is about one and indivisible La République du Cameroun. So please, let us all take note. Let us all take note of these events and organizations and conferences that are coming up. They are not about to push this struggle to any other level. No, they are about to put a hammer over the struggle. So now let me talk about this. This is very, very important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very important to me. Last week, a number of Ambazonians were deported from Dallas, Texas, back to Ambazonia. Of course, they landed in La République du Cameroon. This is very, very important because we realize that there are lots and lots of Ambazonians being held up at different immigration terminals in the USA, mostly between the border of Texas and Mexico. And they get there, they spend years in those borders without anybody being informed that for their families. We have this to say. We saw this with a case that took place last week. We realized that the information did not come to us at the interim government until 3 days. Actually, it was, exactly 3 working days, because we got it was 2 working days. We got the information late Thursday afternoon. And we had all it Friday to make phone calls to the governor's office, to the senator's offices, and that was it. And then Tuesday, they were deported. When you have cases pending at any immigration terminal in the USA and you need the help of the interim government of the people of Ambazonia, do not wait until the dying minute to seek help. Do not wait until the dying minute to seek help. Please make sure you contact us if you need help. Contact us on time. Contact us on time for that help. Because when you do that, we have the time to contact. We can contact lawyers if we need to. But contacting us doesn't mean you call Chris Anu. No, the way you contact the interim government for things like this is you go through your counties. Every Ambazonian in the USA, in Europe, you have your county leaders. Do not call Secretary Chris and say, I need a paper for my brother or my sister who is at the immigration post. Do not call Secretary Ambrose, or the Home Secretary, to say, oh, I need a paper for my brother or sister at the immigration post. No, you call your local government administrators, take it to them, and they will know what to do. If it means contacting any other person, they will do it. So please, do not wait. Do not wait until your people are arrested and about being deported before you reach out to us. At that moment, it is too late. Like in the case of last week, the only thing I heard some people saying, oh, let's get some lawyers, or let's do something. But they didn't realize those people had been at the immigration post since 2018. Since 2018, those deportees had been at the immigration post, and nobody knew except for their families. So please, I hope that we'll take this very seriously. I will take a brief minute out, a very important call coming in here. Let me see what is going on. It probably has to do with this show. So please, 1 minute, and I will be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that is it about those deportations. And let me say a word concerning the killing of Ayeke last week by terrorist soldiers of French Cameroon. This is very, very important. Very, very important, especially for the fighters on ground zero. They are the ones that I am addressing. The Ambazonia Restoration Forces are the ones I am addressing at this moment. And let me say this. There is never a single moment that we celebrate the passing of any human being, no matter how wicked, how wicked or bad that person may have been. It's only once in my lifetime that I have seen the death of a person celebrated, hectically celebrated. And I saw it in Nigeria with the death of the dictator, the military dictator, Sani Abacha. I saw people troop to the streets of Lagos to celebrate the death of Abacha. In the case of Ayeke, I have this to say. Ayeke, ladies and gentlemen, we have never at this interim government considered him one of the fighters for this struggle. Right after his separation from the Red Dragons, Ayeke went on to be on his own. He rained havoc on the people of Alo, LGA, and Wabane, LGA. He killed villagers, burned down their farms and their homes, and sent them, some running to the bushes and some running out of the villages. And at the end of the day, as they say, as you lay your bed, as you fix your bed, so you lie on it. French Cameroon forces came after him after his location was betrayed. They came after him, they arrested him, and they killed him. Now, Ayeke refused to join other Ambazonia restoration forces because of the corruption that comes from some activists and so-called leaders in the diaspora. They gave him money. They bought arms for him. But they sold him out to La République du Cameroon. And those same people can go out on the social media and tell you how they lost a brave soldier. He may have been brave, but he was not part of this struggle for independence for Ambazonia. He hijacked people, took ransom from them, confiscated vehicles, using the guns, ladies and gentlemen, that were given him from the diaspora by activists on the social media and some so-called frontline leaders. Now, I have this to say to every Ambazonian restoration fighter on ground zero. When we came up with county by county and LGA by LGA, the goal here was to see that there was a form or a type of coordination on the ground with every fighting group, every camp. We wanted to make sure that there is also an element of accountability and responsibility with the fighters, with the camps on ground zero. We wanted to make sure that every fighter on ground zero has somebody to report to. But when you cut off from this chain of command, and because somebody is giving you 100,000 francs a month, 500,000 francs a month, sending you an AK-47, or sending you some military gear, and you now think that you can do things on your own as Ayeke tried to do things on his own, you are planning your death, because the same people who give you money and ask you not to belong to others, the same people who give you money, who give you ammunition, military gear, and ask you to be on your own, the same people, the day that you disrespect them, you disobey them, you fail to follow their instructions, they will make sure you are killed as Ayeke was killed. That is exactly what killed him. Irresponsibility. And we are asking every Ambazonia restoration force out there, please respect your chain of command. Do not allow individuals in the diaspora to send you ammunition, to send you money for arms, to send you gear. You have counties, every restoration fighter out there belongs to a county and to an LGA. go under your LGA and submit to the authority in the LGAs and the counties so that they can cover you. But if you give yourself, allow yourself to be controlled by people, activists, irrelevant activists in the diaspora, they will make your life irrelevant too, as they did with Ayeke. That is what I really want all of you out there to take note of. And again, I am speaking directly to every restoration fighter on ground zero. Refuse to take instruction from individuals in the diaspora, because at the end of the day, the slightest disagreement, they will send Larapopolitical Cameroon troops to come and kill you, as they did with Ayeke. This is very, very, very important, and I thought to bring this to you. Now, I supposed to be having Comrade Abdu Karim here. Apparently, I don't see him locked on to be with me. What I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I will bring you my talking point. And in the course of that, hoping that Comrade Abdu Karim will join the broadcast. But for now, I will bring you my talking point. And the talking point is titled Sisiku Ayoktabe, Abdu Karim Ali, and the question of collaboration. That is the subject of the talking point. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, about a week ago, Comrade Abdu Karim came up with an indicting epistle on the issue of collaboration in the struggle. His was proceeded with that of Sisiku Julius Ayoktabe, former leader of this interim government, abducted and locked up with 10 orders at La République du Cameroon's Condenghe prison. We still do not know whether theirs was a coordinated effort or just coincidence. But they both indicted every leader and activist fighting for the liberation of our country except themselves. According to them, they observe a clear and present danger, but ignorantly or deliberately shifted the blame on others. However, that is only partly what is wrong with their collaboration appeals. But I did like to ask, do we at this point in the struggle really need collaboration? Do we need it? Is it necessary? I bet you we need it. And we need it so badly. But there are many among us who suppose that the time for it is over, and there are others like the President, Dr. Sako, who have said there are some groups or people you don't really need collaboration with. That you need but reconciliation. All these shades of opinion are correct. Let me bring you the explanations and the big picture. First, it is very awkward that people who have been part of this struggle and very well informed of the manipulations would want to lecture or blame this interim government for the lack of collaboration among the groups fighting for the independence of Amazonia. It is even stranger when the call for collaboration is coming from Sisiku Julius Ayoktabe, the one man solely responsible for the current state of divisions within the struggle as a whole. And please, do not call this the blame game. It isn't. It isn't a blame game at all. Again, be reminded that Sisiku is solely responsible for the state of division we witness in the struggle today. I was one of those invited to attend the famous Fourth Conclave from where this interim government was birthed. Sisiku, in collaboration with his cronies, refused collaboration by his actions and through the conduct of that assembly. Leaders, for example, of other factions invited to Abuja were locked out of the process. They murmured and grumbled until the Nigerian military was brought in on them, and they turned back to their various destinations in Europe and America. Maybe if they had been included in the process, we wouldn't be talking about the need for collaboration today. We would perhaps be talking about reconciliation. That's just my guess. In the absence of Sisiku Julius Ayoktabe, that is to say, after their abduction and transfer to La République du Cameroon, this interim government took up quite a number of initiatives aimed at bringing other groups to collaboration. I believe the great Washington, D.C. rally in 2018 that preceded a unity conference featuring all the major frontline leaders is still very fresh in our minds. The initiative was sponsored by this interim government, and almost every leader who mattered was there. But before it was even over, leaders who had gone there hoping to emerge, new leaders of the struggle, having been disappointed, left disgruntled and declared collaboration dead. But even so, the interim government still continued to believe and push the idea of collaboration. That explains why the interim government was very visible in Dr. Fontaine-Neba's conference in D.C. Late same year. Though we were not the organizers, we had hoped that these would achieve what the Washington rally failed to achieve. That is, unite every other movement to collaboration. I cannot name other secret initiatives at collaboration that the interim government initiated, and they also flopped. But I should state that in all of these instances, collaboration failed because it was always expected before any of such meetings that the interim government would be brought down, a new movement or organization emerge to whose loyalty nobody would know. Collaboration had essentially become another word for capitulation of the interim government. Maybe you're asking what is wrong about that, if it would serve the good of all Amazonians. There is something, or everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything very, very fundamentally wrong with it. And I will tell you, this interim government is the only institution or body in this struggle with checks and balances to the effect that no one man can dictate the pace and direction of the struggle. This interim government is the only body with a well-constituted structure that represents the avowed desires of the Amazonian grassroots. The interim government is the only body with a very strong and competent financial structure that is directly accountable accountable to the people of Amazonia. The interim government remains the only body that has been subjected to scrupulous scrutiny, audited and continuously audited by a board of auditors representing all of Amazonia's 14 counties. The interim government is the only body, again, in the struggle practicing real democratic principles, flanked by a parliament in the Restoration Council, the Judicial Council, the counties and the local governments set up. These make for the much needed checks and balances necessary for the effective running of any government or organization without building a strong man. Like in the case of Sisiku's impeachment, the leadership or president of the interim government can be fired, again, can be fired if he doesn't perform or is found in the dereliction of duty. These stringencies have helped to build trust in the people of Amazonia in the interim government, though it still has its pitfalls. But the people can rest assured that at least, no one man can hold the struggle to ransom. No one man or few individuals should have monopoly of wisdom over how the struggle is prosecuted and over how your donations are spent. These are the stringencies governing this interim government, but which every other frontline group that we know of in this struggle lacks. Amazonians give them funding, but they have never been accountable to any person to the extent that this interim government has gone. We are very aware that theirs are one-man leadership, tribal or clans leadership sometimes. In fact, most, if not all of these, have never seen a change of leadership. These are the fundamental linings behind which the interim government has refused, ladies and gentlemen, to capitulate for any reason to some new structure or revolutionary council as some are suggesting. The interim government is a very big tent, a very, very big tent, especially with the advent of LGA by LGA and county by county, where every Amazonian can and should belong. The imputation that the interim government was a wrong idea in the beginning, in the first place, pays or just doesn't argue well in the face of the accomplishments and the stringencies of this interim government. Maybe it was then. But at this moment, with a decentralized structure in the counties and the local governments, it couldn't have been a bad idea. And allow me to say this. The reason why some are so obsessed with negativity and fits of bitterness against the interim government isn't because the leadership is corrupt and incompetent. It is rather because some Amazonians have lived for too long with the Republic du Cameroon system. They think if you are not from the same village, you are just not good for the position or any position. This is exactly what is killing us, ladies and gentlemen. This is the reason why there is no collaboration. This is indeed the crux of the matter. And I hate it when people write about it in a parabolic language. Let's call a spade a spade. Haven't most of you heard this mention of, and I quote, he's from the northern zone, and so on and so forth. Or, let's get it back to the southern zone, and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't even hear this in the days of the Funchas and the Indeles. We did not. We are so sold into this tribal nocturnal divide and rule thing. and it is tearing our mission, our struggle apart. If we must make it, if we must win, we must end it. If we must reach Boya, we must see ourselves as one people, not as a Lebialem man versus a Mesa man, not as a Fako man versus Manu man, but as Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, versus colonial genocider La République du Cameroon. This interim government isn't out for collaboration of convenience. This interim government isn't for the type of collaboration meant to give some individuals a good name and safe face in the eyes of the gullible. This interim government isn't ready for collaboration intended to pass on to La République du Cameroon who they want to see at the negotiation table as opposed to who Ambazonians want at that table. Comrade Sisiku and team do not need collaboration with this interim government. As Dr. Sako stated over the weekend, if Sisiku and team need anything, it is reconciliation. Reconciliation. And for anyone to take any reconciliation seriously, Sisiku should start in Kondenge, reconciling with all the other folks with whom he fell apart for dividing and straining this struggle. Reconciliation, ladies and gentlemen, means Sisiku dissolves the attempted cabinet or government in Kondenge. He should acknowledge that having been impeached, his title has changed from President Sisiku to former President Sisiku. He should come to reconciliation understanding that Ambazonia has only one interim government and one president, Dr. Samuel Ekomesako, at least for the moment. The interim government is very much open to reconciliation. We are stronger together, but weaker in factions. This is also what honest Ambazonians want to hear from Sisiku in the event of that reconciliation. What was your NERA meeting all about? What was your NERA meeting all about? It has long been discredited that it was a refugee meeting. And Iko, Cameroon's intelligence chief, was recently stated during a meeting in Ghana, that NERA hotel meeting was meant to be a